Hey guys, I'm Laura and I'm currently sitting on the fruit farm that I live on, and today we're gonna do a story time on my worst breakup ever. Most of the relationships I've had have been pretty good. Very little toxicity, very little arguing, pretty much no yelling, no fighting. But I have this one breakup that really rocked my world so bad. So I was with this man for about 5 years. And when I tell you I loved this man, like, I never loved anybody so much. I was willing to go through whatever to make him happy, to keep our relationship, to grow with him. I would have went through anything for this boy. Unfortunately, that was not reciprocated, and I didn't get that back in return. And no matter how hard I fought, no matter how many tears I cried, no matter how much I begged, it didn't get me anywhere at all. Nowhere. It actually just ended up hurting me and made it worse. It made me look weak. It was a tool to use against me, and it did nothing. I thought it was proving how much I was willing to fight for the relationship, how dedicated I was, how committed. No, it actually just made me look like a weak crybaby who has no control over her emotions. One day, my girlfriend and I decided to take a trip from LA up to San Francisco, a little road trip, and she was gonna fly home to Pennsylvania. So just for context, I'm from Pennsylvania. I was living in California with my boyfriend, and my girlfriend from Pennsylvania came out to visit. So I had moved across the country to be with this man. When I got back from that vacation, my boyfriend wasn't home when I got home, and I didn't really think anything of it. I'm just like, oh, he's like out right now or something. I don't remember what time I got home. It was probably a little bit later in the day because I didn't really notice anything. I just thought, oh, he's not here. So I couldn't really see anything was like out of place or gone. So I just thought, oh, he's staying at a friend's house. He's working. I don't really know. And he already kind of always moved in silence. So I thought, well, maybe he just like didn't tell me. So the next morning, I wake up and I go to make my smoothie. And I'm looking around the kitchen and I'm like, where's the blender? Where's the kitchen appliances? It's just kind of feeling a little empty in the kitchen. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is a little weird, but well, maybe he went to his friend's house and he took it with him. You know, that makes sense, right? So I'm like, all right, well, he must have just gone to his friend's house. Okay, that's fine. So I end up calling him at that point, and I'm like, hey, like, where are you? Like, it's the next day. I noticed your stuff in the kitchen's not here. So like, you go to your friend's house for a couple days, or like, and he's just like, oh yeah, don't worry, I'll be home. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, all right, all is well. Perfect, great. So, yeah, I'm waiting for him to get home, waiting, and he finally comes home, and he's just kind of like, yeah, I don't live here anymore. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? You don't live here? This is your family's home. Your parents are here. I'm here. What do you mean you don't live here? He's like, I moved out. And I'm like, you moved out? No, like, stop playing. But no, this man dead ass really did move out on me while I was on vacation, and he didn't tell me. That was amazing to come home to. Oh, the best thing to come home from vacation and find out, oh, I guess we broke up. No one told me. Wow. So I really just lost it. Like, emotionally, just, it was like my heart was like diced up and just seared on a pan, and then just, it was just an amazing feeling. So I'm just like, this can't be real. Like, I'm just, for weeks and weeks and months, just, like, just crying. But that's later on. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, let's talk about this. Let's not move irrationally. Like, let's talk about this before. What do you mean you moved out? And he's just like, yeah, I'm done. And I'm just like, you can't just move out on me. And like, you can't just leave me at your parents' house. I'm across country for you. What do you mean? Like, he's just like, nah, that's on you, girl. That's on you, girl. Oh well, figure it out. Find somewhere to go. I really can't believe him. I really can't. And I'm just like, wow. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't you talk to me about it? Like, it's like, and he says to me, there's no talking to you. I knew you'd freak out. There's no talking to you about this. You can't talk about it. As if moving on me and not telling me wasn't gonna make me absolutely lose it anyway. What do you mean you can't talk to me about it, right? There's no talking to me coming from someone who didn't even try to talk to me when I'm the one trying to talk to them. It's just like, oh, goodness gracious. Anyway, so yeah, man, he left me at his parents' house alone across country, and I really never cried so hard in my life. Gosh, like, and I couldn't even control it. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, his poor parents have to hear me just wailing in my room, just losing it, just so, like, betrayed, heartbroken, confused, hurt, I feel like my whole life was like ripped out from underneath, like just no warning. Coming home from vacation, feeling I got that vacation high. I come home and just my whole life is like gone. Like, oh my gosh, I really, like, I can't tell you how much I cried for how long I cried. The amount of nights I just would wake up in the middle of the night, and I would wake up in the middle of the night and hope maybe he came home, and like, because he would still come home every couple days. He would come home and I would get this fucking high, like, oh, he's here, and I would try to talk to him and try to talk some sense into him. Sometimes he would come home in the middle of the night, so I would wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, like that instant, like, wake up with a burst of energy, and I'd be like, oh my God, maybe he's here. And I would like look out the window, maybe he's here. Dude, like, not like, also, like, I'm living in his childhood bedroom with a bunch of his stuff still there. I'm staring at it every day. Like, I was surrounded by him, his smell, his family's pets, like everything. Like, and I just, dude, like, there's just no describing how painful that was. I begged and begged and begged for some decency, even just decency, and just nothing, dude. He would come home and not even look at me, not even say hello, just act like I wasn't even there. And I was just, and like, I was already with this man for 5 years, so he moved out on me, and I'm just like, well, I'm not just gonna up and leave. Like, when you're in a situation like that, at least me, like, I told myself, like, I gotta give it some time. I gotta, like, maybe just give him some space for a little bit or something. Like, I gotta like, see here, I'm not just gonna, okay, time to pack up my whole life and move back home. Like, no, like, I'm not gonna do that. Especially, I love him. Like, I'm just like, I gotta, give it a month, give him some space, give him some time. Even though that whole time I'm sitting there crying and calling him every day, just like, hey, like, this is fucking awful, dude, please, what the fuck, like, oh my gosh. Like, then a month goes by, and then his brother passes away, and I'm just like, oh, like, that was terrible. So then I'm like, well, now I really gotta, like, wait this out and give him space, or try to be there for him. I don't even know which one I'm supposed to do at that point. Now I'm worried about his mental health and how he's feeling, but I'm also trying to figure out where we stand. And I don't want to push him too much about one thing when he's really just focused on the death right now. It was so confusing. I didn't know what to do. But there I was, just waiting it out and waiting it out and waiting it out. And for the first 3 months of him being gone, he was still coming home and having sex with me when he would come home. And that made it so much more confusing. So I'm there 3 months in at this point. Another month goes by. Another month goes by. And I'm just like, I don't even know what to do at this point. Like, I don't really want to break up. I'm stuck in this house. Like, it's thousands and thousands of dollars to move home. Do I really want to do that? What happens if I decide I'm going to move out and then he comes running back? Like, I was just so confused and I felt so stuck. I felt so desperate. I'm out there all alone. And it was just so hard. Like, I was just, begging. Like, I would, when it all really happened in the beginning, I was like steady begging, like daily, like, yo, what the fuck? Like, trying to knock some sense into him. And just gradually, like, as time went on, I would try less and less. So it would be every day. Then it would be every couple days. Then it would be once a week. Then it would be once every 2 weeks. It took a long time to fizzle this out for me. A long time. Then it would be I don't know what I just said. It would be 3 weeks. Then I went like a month. I'm like, but what do I do? Because I'm still living here. What do I do? Why am I not talking to him? What do I do? So, a month would go by and then I would cave and just, hey, please come home and let's talk about this. When he would pick up, it would just be hostile, just like, no, I don't like you, like, nah, fuck off, nah, bitch, fuck you. I was like, oh gosh. And honestly, like, I feel like I was getting manipulated, and I also feel like I was manipulating myself, because I just couldn't believe that this was really happening. Like, 6 months had gone by and I'm still just sitting there like, what do I do? What direction do I go in? What am I, like, how does he really feel about me? Like, what is really going on with him right now? It was so hard, man. I remember when the 6 month mark hit of him being moved out came around. I remember, like, I would, like, work up these scenarios in my head for when he would come home and be like, okay, when he comes home this time, I'm going to tell him this, and he'll be sure to get it this time. He'll be sure to understand how I'm feeling and what this has done to me and how much I love him and what we should do to fix it. Like, I would just, like, write it all in my head and be like, all right, this time he's going to get it. So I remember the 6 month mark came and he came home. I remember I, like, stopped him in the hallway and I just made the point to just look him dead in the eyes. And I remember just being like, I'm in love with you. Like, I'm so in love with you. Like, what do we gotta do? Like, I'm your girl. You know this. Like, I'm put here. Like, what do we gotta do? And I remember he just, like, looked at me, like, and laughed, like, and he's like, it's been 6 months, dude. Like, get over it. Like, and I'm just like, oh, like, just the heart-wrenching pain. Like, get over it. Like, what do you mean? Like, just get over it. Like, how could I just get over that? Like, no. And I just remember that, man, and that one really hurt for some reason. Just get over it, as if that wasn't, like, the most hurtful thing someone had done to me. So yeah, like I said, I would go a month not talking to him, speaking, trying to collect myself a little bit, and then I would cave. And the very last time that I tried, he came home in the middle of the night and slept in his room. And I didn't know. I didn't wake up that time when he came home. But I realized in the morning I heard the movement in the room next to him, like, oh, he's here, yay, yes. I remember tapping on the door because I knew he was awake. And I remember I was like, "Good morning. It's nice to have you here." Just no response. So I'm just like, all right, well, I don't know what else I expected. What else did I really expect? Decency? So I'm like, all right, maybe he's just tired and groggy. Maybe that's why he ignored me. I'll just give him some time. And he actually left, went and ran an errand, and then came back. Again, I didn't know if he was coming back or what, but he ended up coming back. And I was able to see him at that point. And I caught him in the hallway again, and I don't remember exactly what I said. I don't know, just another one of my spiels about I love you and it shouldn't be this way between us, blah, 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 blah. Same thing every time, just articulated in a different way. And, when I would do these little acts of desperation to try to get him back, the responses I always got were just insults, name calling me a bitch, telling me to shut the fuck up, being rude, disrespectful, ignoring me. I can only take being insulted so many times in those situations where I'm already emotional before I insult back. And it got to the point where I think I started insulting him back a little bit, but then a lot of times when this would happen, I would try to stop it and be like, no, let's not do that. I don't mean those things I say, that, stop. I'm just mad at you right now because you've left me here. I'm mad. So that would always happen. And I remember I got myself to that point and I was just like, I don't really mean that. Let me just get back on track and talk about how I really feel. I'm just frustrated with you, but I really miss you and I'm so hurt. You have no idea what this has done to me to leave me here. And I remember through the summer, my birthday had came around, and that was through the breakup. And I had remembered on my birthday, he didn't even reach out to me at all. He didn't acknowledge it at all. And that just really, really hurt. Birthdays are kind of sensitive for me already, but to just be going through that breakup and then have him just not even acknowledge me. Sorry, there's a mosquito. To not even have him just give me, I keep saying decency, but whatever. To not even be decent enough to just acknowledge me on that day when I'm living in his house alone. I have no friends out there. My only friend lives hours away. To not even be acknowledged on that day really hurt. And I brought it up to him with tears rolling down my face. I remember saying to him, "You didn't even wish me a happy birthday." And he stopped for a second and he kind of smirked and laughed a little bit. And he looked me in my face, in my eyes, and he said, "Fuck your birthday. Fuck the fact that you were ever born. And fuck your dead dad, too." And I just sat there I don't know why that one hit so different from all the other times he had hurt me and name called and said evil things. But that one just really killed, just absolutely killed. And I just sat there looking at him. I couldn't believe it. And I remember something hit me after he did that. And I remember and I just turned around and I just stopped engaging. I was so hurt from that. I couldn't even engage. I was just it's like I shut down. And then he came into the room and was just yeah, fuck you, bitch, fucking whore. Started name calling, making it worse. And I just, again, I just refused to engage. So he's catching on to this eventually. He's like, "Hello, you gonna feed into me a little bit here? Give me a reaction. Give me your crying like you always do." And I refused to engage with it. And he starts breaking down a little bit, and he's just like, I've never, like, this man would never apologize to me for anything. Ever, 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 ever. Not even when he cheated on me. Never even got an apology for that, ever. He started breaking down a little bit, and he's just like, my bad, dude, my bad. Or said something like that, and in my head, I'm like, that's not a real apology. You're not looking me in the face. You're not saying what you're sorry for. You know, you're just kind of word vomiting. Oh, my bad. I'm just like, nah, that ain't good enough. All the pain you've just been putting me through, I'm not just gonna, oh, it's cool, yeah, like, no. So he's still just trying to, like, hello, man, come on. He starts saying to me, let's go take a walk, because that would be something that I would say to him anytime it would get heated between us. I would say to him, like, hey, let's go take a walk, let's clear the energy in the room, let's walk and talk. I was always trying to get him to take on walks with me, really, regardless of if we were fighting or not. And he would never do it, ever. He would never take a walk with me. And again, that would just sucked. But he said that to me. He's like, let's go take a walk. Let's talk about this. Now you want to talk about it. Let's talk about this. And just again, nothing. I'm just blank at that point. So then, you know, I'm going on probably 6 months of no touch from him at all. And out of nowhere, his hand's on my shoulder, the first touch from him in months. Hands on my shoulder. And I'm just like the immediate, like, longing that I had was like, oh, like, I've been waiting to feel that for so long, and now you want to do it. It really sucked. Not only do I feel the hand on me, then I feel the caress of my face, and I'm just like, damn, dude, like, what? Where is this coming from? You've just been spending the past year essentially telling me how much you don't want me at all. You're over me. You've been moved on. All this, and to just feel his touch on me. It was rough to feel that, for sure. I'm just like, this still isn't enough for me to, like, turn and engage, because a split second of affection and you putting your guard and your wall down isn't enough for me to come running when I just spent the whole year basically just trying to get that out of you. And it was so confusing. And that was the last interaction we had. And I don't know what was in me that day to just turn around, but I never tried again after that day. And here I am today. It's been a little over a year since that. It's been really hard, man, honestly. I've had nightmares for so long over this. So yeah, that's my story time. Just stop trying with someone who's not giving you anything in return. Stop trying with someone who clearly has other plans. Stop trying with someone who isn't inclusive, doesn't consider you, and don't beg for people. Don't do it. It's not going to lead to anything. And when you do beg, if you do end up getting your way after you beg, it's not going to feel good, because why should you have had to beg for something that was supposed to be yours? You're going to do all that begging, being pathetic over something, and then you finally got it. It's not even going to be rewarding for it at that point. It's kind of just going to feel like you got it out of pity. So, yeah, that was one of the hardest things I had to go through, if not, it was the hardest thing I had to go through. Feel free to leave any similar experiences you've had in the comments, or if you have any words of encouragement for people that are going through breakups. I just feel like personally, if I'm gonna put myself out there, it makes sense for me to put some of the worst things I've gone through out there for people to know where I'm coming from, for people to understand who I am as a person. So that is where I'd like to start, because that really changed me a lot, and it really sucked to go through that, and to, quite honestly, still be going through it on some level. So that was it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.